Alaska, where winter is more than just a season, it's an attrition. For 8 months of the year, Alaskan winters test the resolve and the stamina of those who call it home. Where some towns experience daylight no longer than 4 hours, and temperatures can drop to as low as -50 degrees C. But amidst all this, the last great race on Earth is testing humans and canines to their absolute limits. 1,000 miles of remote wilderness, unyielding elements and pure courage. This is the Iditarod.
As many of you know, I've run a few ultras in my time. They're often an adventure in nature, testing your endurance and willpower. They are hard, there's no doubting that. But when we talk about real races, epic adventures that bruise the soul and deplete the body like nothing you've ever seen, then the Iditarod cannot be beaten. And as you'll find out today, the Iditarod is not just a race, it's a celebration of courage, endurance, and the unbreakable bond between human and their sled dogs.
Before airplanes or snowmobiles or Land Rovers, sled dogs were vital to Alaska's survival. They carried supplies, delivered mail, and even saved lives. This bond between humans and dogs wasn't just practical though, it was built on trust and mutual reliance, forged in some of the harshest conditions on Earth.
One story captures the legacy better than any other. The 1925 serum run to Nome. In 1925, the only doctor in Nome found that some of the town's children were showing symptoms of diphtheria. Back then, a deadly disease. After 2 fatalities and cases building up, the doctor quarantined the entire town. A special serum of antitoxin was required, but the nearest stockpile was in Anchorage, 1,000 miles away. Now, a train could carry that antitoxin serum as far as a small town called Nenana. But from there, a team of humans and dogs in relay had to take that serum a further 674 miles. Less than 5 days later, that serum was delivered to Nome, with the team braving almost 700 miles of ice, blizzards and exhaustion, saving hundreds of lives.
Balto, the lead dog of the final leg, became the face of this heroic effort. But the unsung hero was Togo, a Siberian husky who ran over 260 miles, navigating the longest and most dangerous stretch of the trail. These events laid the foundation for the Iditarod, a race created not just to honour sled dogs, but to preserve the culture they represent.
So the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race began in 1973 as a way to celebrate and preserve Alaska's sled dog heritage. What started as just a small event with just a handful of mushers has grown into a global phenomenon, drawing competitors from as far away as Norway, Russia and Japan. Now, mushers must carry supplies for themselves and their dogs, including food, survival gear and emergency equipment. Every decision on the trail could mean the difference between finishing and falling short.
The race follows 2 main routes, the northern route in odd-numbered years and the southern route in even-numbered years. Both routes start in Anchorage and end in Nome, but they diverge in the middle, passing through different villages. This alternation ensures that all communities along the trail share in the race's excitement.
And the trail itself has become a character in the race. Each section a lesson in survival, strategy and respect for the wilderness. But it's not just its immense length that makes the Iditarod so gruelling. It's the variety and intensity of its terrain. From dense forests like this and frozen rivers to wind-scoured tundra and frozen ice. The trail is as unpredictable as it is unforgiving.
Take Rainy Pass for example. This checkpoint is nestled in the heart of the Alaska Range, where mushers face narrow mountain trails, sharp inclines, and the constant risk of avalanches. Beautiful, but deadly. Beyond the mountains, lies the Yukon River, a seemingly endless expanse of frozen water. Here, temperatures can plummet to -50 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind cuts like a knife, and the isolation is absolute. Mushers often describe this section as a mental endurance test as much as a physical one. And then there's the Norton Sound, a stretch of icy coastline where mushers are exposed to gale-force winds and shifting ice. It's the kind of place where even the smallest mistake can have huge consequences.
Now, the wilderness of Alaska is breathtaking, of course, but it's also brutal. Temperatures often plunge below zero and storms can appear without warning. Mushers know they're not just racing, they're surviving. Every section of the trail demands something different. Courage in the mountains, resilience in the rivers, and ingenuity on the coast. It's this variety that makes the Iditarod a true test of skill and determination.
No two Iditarod races are the same, but 2013 stands out as one of the most incredible finishes on record. Iditarod legend Mitch Seavey and Ailey Zirkle battled neck and neck over the final miles to Nome, creating one of the closest finishes in the race history.
Imagine this. After 1,000 miles of racing, battling the elements, the wilderness, the limitations of your body and mind, the whole thing came down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Mitch Seavey crossed the finish line just ahead of Zirkle, securing his place in the record books. It was a moment that showed just how fine a line between victory and defeat can be at the Iditarod. For spectators, it was of course thrilling, but for the mushers, it was a reminder that every single decision on that trail can be the difference between first and second.
At the heart of the Iditarod are of course the dogs. These Alaskan Huskies are more than just athletes, they're partners. Their loyalty, stamina and enthusiasm define the race.
Now, each team comprises of 14 dogs and their training begins months before the race. Now, they're conditioned to run long distances, navigate challenging terrain and work as a cohesive team. But what's truly remarkable, like me, is their love for running. It's in their blood. During the race though, the dogs' well-being is the absolute priority. Vets conduct regular checkups at each checkpoint and the mushers carefully monitor their teams for signs of fatigue or injury. Rest is mandatory and the bond between musher and dogs is built on trust and care. Well, the dogs of course are the real legends of this race, but what about the human competitors?
This is Dallas Seavey, a 6-time Iditarod winner and course record holder. He won it 3 years in a row in 2014, 15 and 16 with the same lead dog, Reef. And
in case you were wondering, the course record is an incredible 7 days, 14 hours and 8 minutes. To put that in perspective, the first race in 1973 was won in 20 hours and 48 minutes. But Dallas was always going to be successful in this race.
This is Mitch Seavey, Dallas's father. I mentioned him earlier. He was the one who won the 2013 edition by 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
That's right, he won the race the year before his son Dallas won 3 in a row. And he also won it the year after that. In fact, the two of them have won it 9 times between them. That's 43% of all races since Mitch first won it in 2004. What a family.
But it's not just about winning. For many, the Iditarod is a personal journey, a chance to push their limits and connect with the Alaskan wilderness. Whether they finish first or last, every musher has a story worth telling. The Iditarod is more than just a race. It's a celebration of courage, endurance, and the incredible partnership between human and sled dog. It's a reminder that in the face of nature's greatest challenges, the human and canine spirit can achieve the extraordinary.
From its roots in Alaskan history to the modern day races, the Iditarod is a testament to the power of teamwork, resilience and the beauty of the wilderness. It's not just a race, it's a legacy. And I, for one, would love to be there one day to witness it. Take care.